The Santa Monica boardwalk buzzed with life that sunny afternoon. Joy filled the air as families strolled past carnival games, their laughter mixing with the ocean breeze and seagull calls above. Kids clutched sticky cotton candy, while couples wandered hand in hand beneath the spinning Ferris wheel. The sweet aroma of fresh churros and buttered popcorn danced through the crowd. But suddenly, a cruel voice cut through the happiness like a blade. "Get out of the way." The harsh words sliced through the festive atmosphere. People stopped and stared as a teenage girl sat frozen in her wheelchair, her knuckles white as she gripped the metal rims. Before she could react, a group of young bullies pushed her chair violently, sending it rolling dangerously toward the pier's edge. Her frightened cry pierced the air as the wooden boards shook beneath her wheels. The crowd watched in shocked silence, horrified by such cruelty. Then, from somewhere in the distance, a deep rumbling began. It started soft like distant thunder, but quickly built into a mighty roar. Motorcycles appeared on the horizon, their chrome gleaming in the golden sunlight, black leather reflecting patches and emblems. The bullies' confident smirks vanished as dozens of bikers surrounded the girl. What unfolded next would become legendary at Santa Monica Pier. Her name was Lily Carter. At 14, she had already faced challenges that would break most grown-ups. Born with a condition that affected her muscles, Lily had never taken a single step. Her wheelchair wasn't just equipment, it was her independence, her mobility, her trusted companion through a world that seemed designed to keep her out. She'd learned early that society wasn't built with people like her in mind. Sidewalks without ramps, heavy doors she couldn't open, endless staircases that might as well have been mountains. Yet Lily possessed an unbreakable spirit. She devoured books about brave heroes, noble knights, and fearless adventurers who protected the innocent. At night, gazing at the city lights through her bedroom window, she dreamed of being the champion in those tales, armed with courage instead of weapons. Her mother, Angela Carter, was everything to her. Working multiple jobs just to survive, Angela barely had time to rest, yet she never failed to remind Lily of her worth. "You're not damaged, sweetheart," Angela would whisper during their nighttime talks. "You're special, and special things are precious." School remained a battlefield, though. Teenagers could be ruthless, and Lily endured whispered insults, mocking giggles, and humiliating nicknames. She'd learned to wear headphones and act deaf to their cruelty. But ignoring pain doesn't make it disappear. This particular Saturday was meant to be magical, though. Angela had finally saved enough money to treat Lily to a day at Santa Monica Pier, something Lily had dreamed about for months. The ocean, the attractions, the arcade, the wonderful feeling of belonging instead of watching from the sidelines. They arrived as the afternoon sun painted everything golden, the sea sparkling like broken diamonds. Lily's eyes grew wide as she rolled onto the famous pier. The carousel melody filled her ears, the scent of fresh funnel cake made her mouth water, and children raced past with colorful balloons dancing from their wrists. "Mom," she breathed, her voice filled with wonder. It's magical." Angela smiled, gently brushing her daughter's hair. "Then let's create memories you'll treasure forever." And for precious hours, it truly was magical. Lily played carnival games, giggling when she missed every target. A kind vendor surprised her with extra ice cream. They captured a perfect photo by the Ferris wheel, Angela kneeling beside her daughter's chair, both beaming as bright as the ocean behind them. For the first time in forever, Lily felt ordinary in the best way possible. Not the wheelchair girl, just Lily. But happiness sometimes attracts darkness. As the sun began its descent, 3 teenage boys noticed her joy and decided to destroy it. The pier grew more crowded as afternoon melted into evening. Families wandered in from the beach, couples carried enormous stuffed prizes, and street performers gathered laughing audiences. Lily was enjoying a cherry slush, her lips stained red with happiness, when she spotted them. 3 teenage boys lounging near the arcade, probably 16 or 17, carrying themselves with the arrogance of youth who'd never faced consequences. The tallest one, lanky with sun-bleached hair and a backwards baseball cap, pointed directly at her. His cruel smile spread like poison. The second boy, stocky and broad, elbowed his friend and snickered. The third, thin with calculating eyes, pulled out his phone. Lily's stomach clenched. She recognized that predatory look, the way some people saw her as a target rather than a human being. She tried turning toward the souvenir shop where her mother had gone for water, but her heart was already racing. She told herself to stay calm, to ignore them, to just wait it out. But bullies rarely lose interest in easy prey. The boys strolled over with casual menace, like cats cornering a helpless mouse. "Look what we have here," the tall one announced mockingly. "Speed racers taking a break." Lily gripped her wheels until her knuckles ached white. She remained silent. Experience had taught her that silence was usually safer. But the stocky boy leaned down close enough that she could smell his sour breath. "What's wrong? Forget how to use your legs." The thin one cackled, already recording. "This is perfect content, guys. This'll break the internet." People walked past, some glancing nervously before hurrying away. Others pretended not to notice. It was the cruelest kind of abandonment, being seen, but ignored simultaneously. "Please," Lily whispered, her voice barely audible above the carnival sounds. "Just leave me be." But compassion wasn't in their vocabulary. Suddenly, the tall boy shoved her chair hard from behind. The wheels lurched forward, and Lily screamed as her slush splashed across her clothes. Her chair rolled toward the pier's edge, wooden planks rattling ominously beneath the sudden motion. "Move it, cripple," the boy sneered, treating his cruelty like comedy. Her hands frantically grabbed for the wheel rims, fighting to stop the dangerous momentum. For a terrifying moment, one wheel caught in a gap between boards, and her chair tilted precariously. She thought she might tumble over completely. Gasps erupted from witnesses. A mother pulled her child protectively closer. A man muttered, "That's enough," but didn't intervene. The boys only laughed harder. The stocky one mimicked wheelchair motions, mockingly, while jeering. "Better watch your speed limit." Lily's face burned with shame as tears threatened to fall. She hated them for making her feel worthless, helpless, invisible. She wished she could stand up, fight back, make them stop. But her body wouldn't cooperate. Then a sound began in the distance. At first, just a low vibration in the wooden planks beneath her wheels. "What's that noise?" the thin boy asked, lowering his phone. The rumbling grew stronger, rolling like approaching thunder. Heads turned down the pier as people stepped aside, murmuring in surprise. Motorcycle engines. Dozens of them. A formation of bikes roared into view, chrome flashing in the afternoon sun, black leather gleaming with patches and symbols. The sound wasn't just noise, it was raw power that consumed everything else. The bullies froze, their smirks evaporating. And Lily, still trembling in her chair, looked up to see them approaching. A wall of bikers riding closer, their formation tight and purposeful. Engines growling like lions stalking prey. The pier had belonged to the bullies for those awful minutes. But now it belonged to the Iron Titans. The boys shifted nervously as the thunder of engines intensified. "What the hell is happening?" the tall one muttered, glancing around frantically. The motorcycles rolled closer, their riders wrapped in heavy leather marked with patches, skulls, wings, flames, eagles. Mirrored visors and dark sunglasses hid their faces, but their silent presence spoke louder than any shouts. Lily's wheelchair had finally stopped, wedged between two boards. Her heart hammered in her chest as the bully's laughter died completely. "Don't worry," the thin boy sneered, though his voice cracked with fear. He aimed his phone camera back at Lily. "Smile for your internet debut, wheelchair girl." "Shut up, man," the stocky one whispered, tugging his sleeve. "Let's just get out of here." But pride burned too hot in the tall boy. He spat near Lily's wheel, puffed out his chest, and growled, "I don't care who these guys think they are. Nobody controls me." He shoved Lily's chair again, harder this time. That was the moment everything changed. With synchronized precision, every engine cut to silence. Heavy boots hit the wooden planks in unison. The crowd, previously passive observers, pressed closer with wide eyes and raised phones, recording every second. The three bullies found themselves completely surrounded. The leader stepped forward, a massive man with shoulders like a mountain. His thick beard streaked with gray, colorful tattoos winding up his powerful arms. His leather jacket bore the patch Iron Titans, MC. He knelt beside Lily, his expression transforming from intimidating to gentle. "You okay, sweetheart?" His voice was gravelly but warm with genuine concern. Lily blinked back tears and managed a small nod. "Why, yes. They pushed me." The man's jaw tightened like steel. He rose slowly and turned to face the bullies with deliberate menace. "You boys think this makes you tough?" he asked, his voice carrying across the entire pier. Silence. The three shuffled their feet but couldn't find words. Another biker, tall and lean, with an eagle tattooed across his throat, chuckled darkly. "Not so talkative now. Thought you were comedians a minute ago." The crowd murmured, emboldened now that power had shifted. Someone shouted, "Make them pay." Another voice cried, "Teach them respect." The stocky boy stared at the ground. The thin one stammered, We were just playing around." The leader cut him off sharply. "Playing? You attacked a child in a wheelchair. That's your idea of fun." He stepped forward, his boots echoing against the boards. The bullies instinctively retreated. The tall one tried maintaining his defiance, but his voice wavered. What's it to you people?" The leader leaned down until his beard nearly touched the boy's face. "It's everything to us." One by one, the bikers closed ranks, forming an impenetrable circle. The boys were trapped, their false bravado stripped away by leather and steel. The thin boy's phone slipped from his trembling hands and clattered onto the boards. A biker retrieved it, scrolled through briefly, then showed the screen to their leader. "Recording it too, huh? Planning to post this online?" The leader's eyes darkened dangerously. He crushed the phone in his bare hands like it was made of paper, letting the pieces fall at the boy's feet. The crowd erupted in cheers and applause. The boys' faces went completely white. The leader raised his hand and the celebration quieted. He wasn't performing for entertainment. He was delivering justice. "Listen carefully," he said, his voice booming across the pier. "That girl has more strength in her smallest finger than you three combined. You think targeting her makes you men? Real men protect people. Real men defend the vulnerable. Real men don't attack those already facing hard battles." The words hung heavy in the salt air. Even the Ferris wheel seemed to pause, its music fading into the distance. Angela burst from the souvenir shop, breathless and panicked. She froze at the sight, her daughter surrounded by intimidating bikers, the bullies cowering in their circle of leather and chrome. "Lily," she cried, rushing forward desperately. The bikers immediately stepped aside, creating a clear path. Angela dropped to her knees, pulling her daughter into a fierce embrace. "Are you hurt, baby? Did they harm you?" "I'm okay, Mom," Lily said softly, though her hand still shook. They tried to." Angela looked up at the bullies with blazing fury, but before she could speak, the leader placed a gentle hand on her shoulder. "We've handled it, ma'am." He turned back to the boys with finality. "You're going to apologize. Right now." The tall one opened his mouth, but no sound emerged. The eagle-tattooed biker cracked his knuckles meaningfully, and suddenly words poured out. "We're sorry," the thin one yelped, his voice breaking. "We didn't mean anything. We swear." "Sorry," the stocky one mumbled, studying the ground intently. The tall one hesitated until the leader's stare burned into him. "Sorry," he finally muttered. "Louder," the leader commanded. "I said louder." "I'm sorry," the boy shouted, his voice cracking under pressure. The crowd booed and jeered. Someone yelled, "Too late." Another shouted, "Get off our pier." The leader didn't need to say another word. The boys bolted, sprinting through the parted circle of bikers with their sneakers slapping against the wood. Dozens of phones followed their humiliating retreat, ensuring the world would witness their cowardice. When they vanished, the bikers turned back to Lily. The leader knelt again, his weathered face soft with kindness. "Don't you ever let anyone make you feel less than what you are, little warrior. You're stronger than they'll ever dream of being." Tears streamed down Lily's cheeks, but for the first time in years, she didn't feel invisible. She felt seen. She felt powerful. The crowd applauded thunderously. Strangers patted Angela's back, praised the bikers, and smiled warmly at Lily. The pier felt transformed, brighter, safer, united in purpose. The leader nodded once to his crew. "All right, brothers." Engines roared back to life, echoing like thunder rolling toward the sea. The Iron Titans rode off into the golden sunset, leaving behind silence, awe, and memories that would last forever. Angela squeezed Lily's hand tightly. "You okay, sweetheart?" Lily smiled through her tears, feeling different somehow, stronger, braver, more herself than ever before. "Yeah, Mom. For the first time ever, I really am." The pier gradually returned to its normal rhythm. Children's laughter, tourist chatter, the distant carousel melody. But for Lily, everything had fundamentally changed. Her heart still pounded from the confrontation, her clothes still sticky with melted slush, but she felt lighter somehow. For so long, she'd been the one shrinking from stares, hiding from bullies, keeping quiet so the world wouldn't notice her. But today, the world had noticed, and it had chosen to protect her. Angela wheeled her to a nearby bench where she could rest and process everything. Her mother never let go of her hand, squeezing gently as a constant reminder she wasn't alone. "You showed incredible courage," Angela whispered, brushing damp hair from Lily's cheek. Lily swallowed hard. "I didn't feel courageous." Angela's smile was tender and wise. "That's the secret, baby. Courage doesn't mean you're not scared. It means you keep going despite the fear." People continued approaching to check on Lily, offering kindness and small gestures of support. A businessman handed her clean napkins. An elderly woman knelt to tell her she was beautiful and brave. A shy little boy presented her with his prize balloon from the carnival games. Then came the phones and cameras. Within minutes, videos of the confrontation were spreading across the internet. Clips showed the bully's cruelty, the chair being pushed, the biker's dramatic arrival, the leader's powerful speech. Hashtags began trending. Hashtag Santa Monica Strong, hashtag Bikers for Lily, hashtag Stand with Disabled, hashtag Lily Warrior. By the time Angela and Lily reached their car, notifications were exploding across social media platforms. Millions of views, thousands of comments, people worldwide typing words Lily had never imagined would be directed at her. "She's a true warrior. That girl is tougher than any bully." Crying watching this. "Bless those bikers. This is what real strength looks like." Lily woke the next morning to her phone buzzing endlessly. Her mother sat at the kitchen table with coffee, turning the screen toward her with amazement. "Sweetheart," Angela said, her voice trembling with disbelief. "You're everywhere." The local news was broadcasting the footage on television. Anchors discussed the bully's cruelty and celebrated the biker's intervention. Journalists requested interviews. Disability advocacy organizations reached out, praising Lily's resilience. Schools nationwide were sharing the video as an educational tool about bullying and standing up for others. Lily stared at the screen in wonder. That's really me?" Angela leaned over to kiss her forehead. "That's you, baby. And now they finally see you the way I always have, as the incredible person you are." Santa Monica Pier organized a special gathering, not an angry protest, but a celebration of strength and community. Families came together, advocates spoke passionately, and at the heart of it all sat Lily, invited as the guest of honor. The Iron Titans were there too, lined up on their motorcycles like guardians of the boardwalk. Their leader caught her eye from the crowd, his leather jacket gleaming in the sunshine, and gave her an encouraging nod. When her turn came to speak, Lily's hands trembled as she held the microphone. For a moment, she froze, staring out at hundreds of faces waiting expectantly. Then she remembered the biker's words, "Don't you ever let anyone make you feel less than what you are." Her voice shook at first, but grew steadier with each sentence. "My name is Lily Carter," she said clearly. "And for a long time, I believed I was weak. People told me I was broken. They made me feel like I was worth less than everyone else. Yesterday, some boys tried to prove that, but they were completely wrong." She paused, scanning the supportive crowd. I'm not broken. I'm strong. And so is everyone who's ever been bullied or called names or made to feel small. You're not less than anyone. You matter. You have value. You deserve respect. The crowd erupted in thunderous applause. Strangers rose to their feet. Mothers hugged their children tightly. The bikers revved their engines in salute, creating thunder that rolled across the pier like applause from the ocean itself. Lily smiled through happy tears. For the first time ever, she didn't just imagine being the hero from her beloved books. She truly was one. In the following weeks, the bullies faced consequences at school. Their parents were forced to confront the ugliness of their children's actions, and the viral backlash transformed them into symbols of cowardice and cruelty. But Lily became something entirely different, a symbol of strength, resilience, and the power of community. Her story traveled across news networks, classrooms, and talk shows. Advocacy groups invited her to share her message. A nonprofit organization donated a state-of-the-art motorized wheelchair. Every time she appeared on stage or camera, she carried not just her own story, but the stories of countless children who had been silenced by cruelty. Angela continued working hard, but she carried herself differently now, with pride. Not just in surviving difficult circumstances, but in raising a daughter who had transformed pain into power, weakness into strength. The bikers stayed in touch, visiting occasionally and calling to check on their little sister. Their leader told Lily, "You've got family on the road now. If you ever need us, just call." And sometimes, late at night, Lily would look at the photograph on her nightstand, the one from the pier taken just before the bullies appeared, showing her and her mom smiling happily in front of the Ferris wheel. That picture used to represent just a happy memory. Now it was proof that no matter how cruel the world could be, there would always be people willing to stand up for what's right. Proof that even the smallest voice could overcome the loudest cruelty. She whispered to herself before sleep each night, her eyes closing with a peaceful smile. I'm not broken. I'm rare. And rare things are valuable. And this time, she believed it completely. The story of Lily at Santa Monica Pier spread not because of the bullies' cruelty, but because of what happened afterward. The courage of one girl, the loyalty of strangers, and the powerful reminder that kindness can roar louder than any cruelty. Her tale became a beacon of hope for anyone who had ever felt powerless, proving that sometimes heroes come not in the form we expect, but in exactly the form we need. And somewhere on the highways of California, a group of bikers continue riding, knowing they helped change not just one girl's life, but showed the world what it truly means to stand up for those who need it most.